Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the continuation of our Android to Calculator series. So where we left off last time is we had this working. So if you hit 5 here and hit next, it'll say $5 pretty nicely down here. The problem is when we leave the $sign in there and then we click off, our app crashes. And we had determined that that was because the double.parseDouble function, method right here, cannot handle having a $sign or any other non-number sign or character inside its argument. So we're going to fix that today. We could probably do that in this line. The problem is this line is already really long and unreadable. So to make things simpler, I'd like to create a new method, and then we'll use that new method to we'll just use that new method to do what this line is already doing, and then use that method within the update total method. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's create a new method, and we're going to call it, or it's going to return a double. And what it's going to do is it's going to take a double or an edit text as an argument, and then turn that edit text into a double. So yeah, let's do that. So that's why it returns a double. And for an argument, it takes edit text, which we'll call ET. One thing I will mention here is, why is it an error? Oh, okay, don't worry about it. Anyway, one thing I'll mention is when we're dealing with defining a method, you don't actually call this the argument, you call it the parameter. I don't really know why, but basically when you're talking about defining a method, you use the word parameter, and when you're talking about using a method inside your code elsewhere, you use the word argument. So you give a method an argument when you're using it in your code, but when you're actually creating the method itself, you're writing, or you say the word parameter. Okay? I'm sure there's a good reason for it. You can look that up yourself, but just FYI. Also, one more thing. I've been using the word define for method a lot. Technically, the correct term is declare. You declare a method, just like you declare a variable. The reason I've been using the word define for methods and for classes is because I think it makes more sense conceptually for new programmers to think of it as defining a method. But yeah, if you see other people use declare, that's definitely the correct word to use. And in fact, I'm probably going to switch to saying declare now that you guys know how to define a method. Okay, so we're going to return a double. It's going to turn edit text into a double, so let's create a new double here. A new double called db, and it's going to be equal to 0.0. And to stop Eclipse from being so mad at us, let's just write this line down here, return db. Yeah, there we go. Again, return is just tell the computer something. So here we're going to tell the computer with the value of db. Now, when we declare this variable, it is only alive, or it only exists as long as the method is currently running. Once the method is over, once we reach this line here, db, the variable db disappears. So yeah, it's something you should probably know. This goes into scope, which is a programming concept I probably am not going to talk about in this tutorial series. But just so you know, variables only last, or variables and methods only last as long as the method is running. Once the method is over, the variable disappears. And moreover, you can have the same name variable, or for the same name for a variable in multiple methods. So you could have another double called db in this method, another one in this method, another one in the diner class. They could all be called db as long as they're in different methods, then different classes. Then that's okay. Although normally you wouldn't want to, because that's just confusing. So, but again, just FYI, enough of that. I don't want to keep talking about stuff that's not directly related to the problem at hand, so let's fix the problem at hand. We basically wanted to do what this line is currently doing, so let's just copy that and paste it down here. And instead of this, we'll use the variable et. Oh, have I used et before? No, okay. But anyway, if I did use et before in a different method, again, that would be legal, even though you wouldn't want to do it. Okay, so we want to make it so that this thing does not run into issues with the $sign. How do we do that? Pretty simple. Probably could have explained it a lot faster than I have, but this is the code you want, the method that you want. So the dot replace. Replace is a method that you call on strings, and it takes two arguments. The first one is the thing that you want to replace, and the second argument is the thing you want to replace it with. So, quick example to show you what I mean. Let's say we have a string that says apple, and we call replace on it, and we give it these two arguments, A and B. The answer that the computer will give us, will return to us, is this. So as you can see, it replaced the letter A inside apple with the letter B. And it does this for all occurrences of the first argument. So if you had A here, it would be B, B, B down here. It replaces all the A's with B's. So now what would happen if you had the same thing, but instead of B, you had an empty string? So this right here, double quotes, is a string with nothing in it. So it's nothing. Well, then it would replace all the A's with nothing. So you would just be left with pole. So let's look at what we have. I always type so badly when I'm doing these videos. I guess because I'm nervous or something. Whatever. So, replace the $sign with an empty string. The answer is, as you probably have guessed, this. And that's exactly what we want, because it's gotten rid of the $sign, which will let us deal with it, or it will let double.parseDouble deal with it. So great, that means we can go back up here. We can replace this, so instead of doing all the stuff up here, we take order list.get I, and we use the method that we just wrote on it. So we're going to get the order list, or the order at this particular iteration of this for loop. We're going to get that EditText, and we're going to use this method that we just wrote to turn it into a double. So it'll take it, and it'll turn it into ET down here, and it'll get the text, it'll turn it into a string, it'll replace all the $signs with nothing, and it'll turn it into a double, and then it'll give us back a double, which we'll be able to use right here. So the double version of this EditText will be added to the total. One thing I should mention, as far as I know, there's no easy way to just there's no apple.delete a method built into Android or Java. So you actually have to just do this roundabout thing where you replace the letter you want to delete with emptiness. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong. If there is a way to do it, you can leave a comment or whatever. Anyway, so this is all good. Should be working pretty well now. One thing I want to add now. So right now, where is my device? Oh darn, it's not running. I'm too lazy to start it up again. But right now, what we have is the user will type something like 5,000 into the order edit text, and then it'll just stay like that. And that's kind of ugly. We want to turn that 5,000 into something more presentable, like this. Right? So let's do that. So let's go ahead and change this update total method a little bit. We're going to give it a parameter called EditText, and we won't use the same name, even though we can, because that's confusing. We'll call it to be updated. And this will be the EditText that the user just changed, or that just lost focus. So the user just edited it. Wow, it's hard to say. And then what we're going to do with that is we're going to set the text for that to a properly formatted version of what the user wrote. So we're going to use that text. And what are we going to use for that? Well, we're going to use, well, let's just go ahead and use what we have down here, string.format. So we're going to use the same formatting rules. Again, we went through this, commas in there, 2 decimal places because we're dealing with money, and then it's a floating point number. And instead of total, we're going to use itself, and we're going to again use this EditText double thing to turn itself into a double. Cool. And let's add a $sign to it. Let's go ahead and try that out. Oh, whoops. So go back to main activity, you'll notice that we gotta change this since this currently has no arguments in it. Let's give it an argument of v, which is the thing that the user, or that just got that triggered the onFocus change. and it looks like we need to cast it as an edit text because v technically is a view, and we defined or declared this method update hold to accept only an edit text as the parameter. So let's go ahead and run it now after we have casted it. I've talked about casting, right? I think I have. And let's go and see how this is working. How long has it been? Oh geez, I need to wrap this up. Okay, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Come on, AVD. Stop sucking. Alright, 5,000. Let's use a number that has commas in it. Okay, it crashed again. Should I just end the video? No, let's just take a quick look at the crash report. I talked about this already, so you guys can just... Okay, invalid double. Again, we've got $0.00. How is that possible? Oh, no, wait, that's from before. Invalid double, 5,000. Oh, okay. So, it did format it correctly. It did this line properly. The thing is... okay, down here we need to change this slightly. So right now we're replacing the $sign, but double.parse double also cannot deal with commas. So this technically is not a string that double.parse double can turn into a double. Double.parse double has to deal with this number right here, or this number. The comma screws it up. So let's go here and change it slightly. Let's replace commas with nothing. There we go. Am I missing any brackets? Or can't really tell. Okay, let me count 1, 2, back to 1. I shouldn't be. What's the error? Oh, yeah, what's the error here? Oh, sorry, I forgot to make a comma here. 2 arguments. Okay, there we go. Here we're replacing commas within the string with nothing as well. So we're getting rid of all commas and all $signs. That should be able to work with double.parse double. So let's run it again and then end this really long video. Hopefully my video file does not get corrupted. It often does when it exceeds 10 minutes. Very annoying. But, well, what can I say? The things I do for you guys, right? Okay, 5,000. Let's do this. Okay. This doesn't really test the thing. Okay, but let's look over here. 5,000 down there is properly formatted. Up here, also properly formatted. That's great. Let's go with $0 with the $sign still in. $sign still in. Click out of it. No crash. Our program is working properly. Very, very good. And if we even do stuff like that, leaving the $sign in, it'll add it properly. All good stuff. Good stuff. And as you can see, formatting, addition, everything is working properly. That's fantastic. Okay, I can end the video now. Awesome. I will see you guys probably tomorrow in the next video. Good night.